Welcome to another episode of The Doctor and the Chef. Chef, how are you?
Very well. It's great to be here today. Look, not my favourite category, but I know it's one of your favourite categories.
Love
ports. You know, I don't like port. I don't like port power, and I don't like sweet wines. So let's just go with it. 3 strikes, normally you're out. But I am here.
Hang on, stop. Let's just go there. So I do like Port Adelaide Football Club. I do like
sweet wines,
and
I do like
port. Now, today's wines, what we've got here is we've got some Tawny Ports. Now, Tawny Ports are generally wines that
last forever.
Well, they've been fortified.
Yeah, they have.
So when you hear of a fortified wine, you can get ports that are not fortified, I might add, and they will go off.
It's a little bit like a fortified city. No one can get in there, meaning that the air comes in and can't affect the wine.
So what you will do with a fortified wine, you'll get a wine that's already sweet, and you then add some. You make it when it's sweet, so it's got more sultanas that are in there.
Muscatels, we like to say in the trade, doctor.
A few raisins,
muscatels.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but you'll then add something like brandy to be able to make sure that it lasts forever. It's a preservative.
It's a hell of a Oh, right. Yes, so that's a very good point the doctor makes. The brandy preserves
the wine. So you can open a bottle of this, and you can put
literally
take the lid off
and put it back on.
Put it back on,
and in 20 years' time,
maybe not 20 years, but maybe in
200 years' time.
No, maybe not 200 years, but like next month you can open it.
Next month. So it's not a real preservative. It's not like a chemical preservative.
Well, technically it is. but still, it's not going to last forever, but it'll last for a long enough time.
We have an amazing selection of wines here. They're not even really wines, are they? Amazing selection of fortified liquid. I do note across the table here there is one that looks distinctly different from the other ones, but let's not look at that directly.
And one comes out of a box.
Well, and nothing wrong with box, is there?
No.
We all taste it for half of our lives.
Now, let's start with the box.
Okay.
So the box, you've got the golden oak.
Let's see the golden oak.
Fortified wine.
A very sherry nose. Oddly, not a very attractive bouquet. When I say not attractive, sherry has that really salty flavour, but the taste.
We're not drinking sherry.
I know we're not drinking sherry, so
it smells nothing like. Oh, it actually does smell.
It does smell like sherry. I know it does. I know the taste is classic port. So raisins, muscatels, heavy, sweet.
Well, it's a bit light, but it is pretty. Yeah. It has got that port.
So, but it's not an instant reject, even though it's in a box.
Oh man!
Oh, fucking hell!
This is sultanas, isn't it? This is
muscatel.
It's got the muscatels coming through.
Okay, so that's the golden oak. Not an instant reject. Now we've got
the golden oak's about $10 a box.
Lou Miranda. Here we go, Lou Miranda. Well, better bouquet. I'll give you that for free.
The Lou Miranda Dark Angel Grand Old Tawny.
And smooth. Oh, and velvety.
So you don't like
not as viscous,
wines, but you like this?
Not as viscous as the Golden Oak Tawny.
What do you mean not as viscous? You mean more viscous?
That is heavily viscous, whereas this is a bit more volatile in the bottle and in the glass. But nice. I mean, I might have another sip.
Oh, that's so much nicer. You can get the extra roundedness. It coats your tongue completely, and like this to me,
it is substantially better than
this.
Box.
Would be so much lovely with a. If I had this with a caramel, like salted caramel ice cream, I reckon this would be just tremendous.
Okay, well, this is interesting. The Galway pipe has less muscatel and raisin and more sultana, in my opinion. And I'd say a bit of a smoky finish. Yeah. I'd enjoy that with a cigar, almost, I might say. But I don't.
Oh, it's very old school. It's very port. It's like a port from Portugal.
It's like the Port Adelaide Football Club as opposed to Port Power.
Yeah.
Old school.
That's what it is, Port Power business anyway.
Yeah,
anyway, so for me, the Galway pipe has got
I'm actually really
and if you think about it, you might have seen your parents or your grandparents
in the 70s.
They would have
60s and 70s. They would have definitely had a bottle
70s, of that. They would have had a bottle of this Galway pipe. And
but I'm giving that that's progressively.
Oh, look, that's the sharpest wine we've tasted so far. sharpest, and it's got some really good body to it, really heavy.
Okay, so now we're treading into, I would say, more alcohol. Oh, really nice length in that. Slow release muscatels. Have a go at that.
So
again, look, I'm actually being educated here. I've got to say, there's nothing wrong with the last two that we've just had.
The chef hasn't been told I bought these wines, so he doesn't know how much any of them are worth, and so it's a blind tasting for the chef, not for me.
No, but I'd say I'm getting closer to it. I quite like this one. I was expecting a much richer flavour.
So this one's light again, and it's a nice light wine, but it is tremendously. So it's got.
Can you see the difference
on there, but it's very light.
Yeah. Can you see the difference in colour between these two wines? You may not be able to exactly, but on the table it's very obvious. So it's much darker, substantially more viscous, substantially more. I'm expecting to be substantially sweeter. Very sweet. Doesn't have much other than a wine flavour to me. So
the nose is not very good, is it?
No, the nose is appalling. It misses the mark by comparison to these four, where they very specifically either embody the muscatel or sultana flavour. But it's got a more coffee. This has more coffee and chocolate notes.
You know, you're right. So it's the nose is terrible.
It's appalling. It actually smells like probably one of the worst smelling wines I've had.
So it smells a bit dusty, and you know,
just doesn't have any.
No, the other ones all have sultana notes coming through, but the flavour.
It's actually it's
very different. It's got some of that coffee. You can see tiramisu.
Tiramisu, it suits tiramisu very well.
Go really well with tiramisu, that one there.
Okay, so here we go with the Port Penfolds Club. Look, that's really strange too. That's a peppery, chocolatey coffee style as well. So that one light on the muscatels, although they're coming through now, but more of the liquid coffee flavour.
So what I would say with this one is that this is, again, the nose is not particularly great.
No,
it's not.
But what they do is they iron out the sweetness with, and I'm not sure how the pricing works, and I certainly know nothing about port, but what I can tell you with these two versus those ones is that it irons out the sweetness. So it's much more of a wine, direct wine sort of experience, a sweet wine, as opposed to a very clear muscatel sultana experience over here. So I don't know. We're going to rank them in price then.
No. So why don't you tell me? So should I rank them in price?
I'll tell you which one I like the most. That one.
Okay. So let's put this back for a minute, and I'll rank them in price based on the price point. Now, obviously, this is the cheapest one.
Yes.
And now, to be honest, I don't think it's a bad wine.
Nice.
For a Tawny, I don't reckon it's a bad wine.
No,
it's lighter than the rest.
Well, admittedly, it should be okay. It shouldn't matter in a box. So once you've made it and bagged it, it shouldn't matter, because there's actually
and you
don't want any interaction with the cork. You don't want anything with that, because your fortification is the processing.
And of course, there's now a market for putting this into your own barrel.
Right. Well, sure.
So you could pour this into your own barrel.
I get that. Okay, cool.
And you get your own oak flavours from your own barrel.
your own blend.
So this is a really good wine for that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the cheapest.
Okay.
Let's keep moving. So I'll put this down here. Okay. And we'll put this one here. So this one here is a 2 litre cask, and is about $10 a bottle. Okay. $5 a bottle. This one here, $5 a bottle.
$5. Well, I reckon the Sacred Hill was actually all right. Still had that heavy.
So
still has the heavy musket.
$4.99. Isn't that good for $4?
Incredible. I mean, in terms of bargain basement alcoholism, this is the area.
I can't think of another wine at $5.
Where are we going here?
Galway.
Right, okay.
What we're going to do is going to go like this. We're going to go like this. And
they're the same.
They're about the same price.
Well, I reckon I'll give you these two were the best by far.
Yeah. So what I would say is that if we look at this
There was a dramatic change when we tried this. I just think that these two have these big characteristics.
They do.
Of
So-
the sultanas and the muscatels.
Now these ones here, still eminently drinkable. It's
How
a
much are
bit.
these?
So the Galway pipe is around about $35. The Lou Miranda, it's somewhere between $30 and $45.
Okay, so they're actually much better
It's
wines.
a much better wine, but these ones here are all $10 or less.
Okay. Well, look, what I've learned.
$12.
What's our takeout? Because we've got to wrap this up.
Well, I think the takeout is that if you're going to go dessert wine, and I can recommend it because it finishes you off very well. I mean, it's a nice
Polishes you off.
wine to finish off the night with. Is that you can actually get a really good affordable wine to be able to do that.
Okay.
And if you've got your own barrel, you can put in some of this to top something up, and it'll add flavours from your own barrel with the oak that comes through.
And that's a nice little trick to sort of add to your life.
But what I would say, if you'd want to do a really nice wine that is a dessert wine,
These are the
splashing
ones.
out and spending $30 will give you a tremendous wine.
And the takeout being that a little bit of extra money spent will get you a better wine to start with, but you can work on your own blend.
You can. You
Okay.
can. Excellent. Another episode of
Well
your
done, boss.
Oh, fuck you, but you've taken the wine. Oh,
Cheers.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
They're
doctor.
good wines.
They are very nice.
They are very
very,
nice
very
wines.
nice.
And I think they're very good.
All right.
Excellent.
Well,
Another episode
of Doctor and Chef.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers.